are again, back up in the attic. What changed from last time, eh? What was that? Actually, I'm a little bit late this month, to be honest. I didn't realise time just got away from me because I've been fishing, as probably have all of us. I've done 2 sessions now since the start. I started on the Island Lake, Kingsmead Island Lake, which is sort of on the Horton complex, just under the runway of Heathrow, which you'll probably hear in any blogs you see from me. It's bizarre, really. The first session I did, it was really quiet for planes, and I went back about 4 days, 5 days later, and there's planes everywhere. I mean, where's everyone going? I've had my holiday cancelled, so I'm assuming that, I don't know, they must be commercial flight, you know, like business flights or something. But they're full on now, the planes. The whole lake's full on, to be honest. It's busy. I think all lakes are busy at the moment. I mean, most of us, a lot of us, are still furloughed. Everyone's got a lot of time on their hands, and everyone's really been missing it. And I know a few lakes have put into operation sort of temporary time restraints, you know, 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off, that sort of thing, which I suppose is only fair enough if you've got that, you know, normally if you've got a syndicate of 50 people, say, for example, you know, some are midweekers, some are weekenders, some are occasional, once a month or whatever, but now everybody's off, everyone wants to go at the same time. So I can understand them needing to sort of put something into place so everyone gets a turn, if you like. But it is surprising how many people are out there. I've literally just been up the road to a local lake to buy a ticket for the boy. He was at work, he does essential worker, and I had to go and pick up his ticket for him. And we went to the wrong lake to start with. We went to a little day ticket lake. It is a tiny little thing. It was absolutely rammed. There was someone in every single swim. So yeah, there's a lot of anglers with a lot of time on their hands at the moment. But it started off really well for me. Got down there for the draw. It was on a Saturday afternoon. I didn't really know the lake very well, so you know, I didn't really know where I wanted to pick. But I came out. There was 12 in the draw, 12 or 13 in the draw, and I came out 6th, which ain't bad in the middle. But I didn't have a clue where to go, so I just picked a swim that looked decent out on an island.
There we go, Madalena. We're off, aren't we? On the water. What do you reckon? Can we catch carp? Of course we are.
Didn't do too well to start with, but I moved around as I do quite a lot. And eventually got on the fish in the shallower section of the lake, and had a blinding result. Over 2 days, 3 days, the last 3 days I was there, I had 9 fish, which is a lot of fish for that lake. But it was just perfect. It was like the perfect storm. They'd moved up into the shallows. There was a big snag tree there that they liked, and a massive dense reed bed, and all the fish were in the back of that. And they just sort of built up throughout my time there. I did quite well the first day, I did really well the second day, and on the third day I only had one, so I knew they were sort of, you know, I hit it at its best, if you like. And I give the particles a good go in there, because that, for me, when you get that shallow water fishing, you know, you've got gin clear shallow water, that for me is the perfect opportunity for bits and pieces. You know, if you put a kilo of boilies down there, for example, it just looks ridiculous, doesn't it? You know, but you put a little scatter in. I had the monster mix with me, and I was just using, I mean, you know, only not lumping it in, just a little handful, like placing the rigs by boat, so I knew it was dead accurate. And I'm putting it in about 2.5 to 3 foot of water, and just sprinkling like little handfuls over it, so you just got this dusting of different sized particles down there. And the fish are cruising around the front of this reed bed, and of course when they're coming up to this, it's not giving them any danger signals. They're just dropping down and sucking in a few little bits and pieces as they go past. Rigs are really simple. I mean, like I say, when you're putting them out by hand, you don't need anything complicated. You can see that it's not tangled. You can poke your lead down in the silt with your landing net handle. A little bit of coated braid, just like bottom bait rig. A tiger and a piece of plastic corn. And the beauty of that as well is that you can get wiped out by the swans and the birds and the coots and what have you, and you know that your bait's still on. You know, I'm fishing over 100 yards, well over 100 yards to this feature. So, you know, in the afternoon you look out there and you see a swan come round and he dips down, and you know he has absolutely raped your spot. He's destroyed you out there, but you know your bait's going to be all right. So you just wait till he drifts off and then just boat across, another handful of bait round it. You know, you can see your little bait down there, another handful of particles sprinkled round it, come back and it's all fishing again, it's all set. And that was pretty much what I done for the course of the 3 days and 3 nights in there. Most of the bites, I did have a couple of daytime bites, but most of the bites were sort of midnight till about 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock maybe. It was a late one in the morning, which is perfect. You know, that's just bang on. It's all nice and cool then. The fish are out there feeding. In the day, they're just sort of milling about, doing not a lot of nothing. But yeah, no, so I had a really good session. It was a blinding way, you know, to start on a new water as well, to get a few fish under your belt. Just gives you that confidence, doesn't it, on a new lake. You need to get that first bite. And as soon as you get it, you need to get the second bite. And, you know, and once you're in the flow of it and you realise you found a method with which you can catch them, it just gets easier and easier. You get more and more confident, and you're more sort of at home with it all. And I love it there. It's a really, really nice lake. You know, I say it is a bit busy at the moment, but then so is everywhere. My first night, my first fish came just after midnight, and that was your obligatory 18-pound common. You all seem to start with an 18-pound common. Here we go. First one on the bank. Not the biggest, but very welcome. Always. Come on, then. 2 seconds. Lovely little common. There it is, about 18 pounds or something. Oh, there we go. Nice one. Off the mark at last. Thank you very much, Mr. Fish. But the second one, this fish I'll pop up now. This was 29 pounds, I believe this one was. It was absolutely beautiful fish, this one. 28, 29 pounds, something like that. Gorgeous, nice, big, long fish, as you can see. And I had a third one in the morning, but the biggest fish of the lot came out of the blue in the afternoon. It was probably about, say afternoon, late, early evening, 6 o'clock, like, but it was scorching hot, absolutely melting hot in my swim. And just, I say, it wasn't expecting anything at that time of day in those conditions. And the rod I was fishing out to the reeds, just the tip just hoofed round. I say it ripped off, but I don't fish with, I fish with the clutches up tight. So it just, rod tip went round, pulled it out the clip, went up a couple of beeps, hit into it and played in this, well, was obviously a bigger fish. I had to go out in the boat, it got weeded up a little bit, and I went out in the boat and I could see it down there, and it's like gin clear water, and I could see it twisting and turning, and all I could see was this massive great head, this huge head of this fish, and I thought, this is a proper big one. I was thinking sort of mid-40, something like that. And he came up, and as he came up and went into the net, I could see he was quite a short fish. In fact, he's disproportionately big, his head to his body, very leathery fish. And sure enough, it turned out to be a fish called bighead, which sometimes does 40 pound. I think they'd done a little bit of spawning maybe in the lockdown period, because he was 35.5 pounds, something like that. But you know, it was nice to get a proper one, and one of the sort of known ones under my belt. Yeah, he was an absolute blinder. I think I've got a bit of video of him actually. I'll sling that up now and show you.
Kingsmead Island Lake. First big one. First 30. Actually, I will do the other side because he's actually nice on the other side. He's not quite as two-tone. Oopsie daisy. Pretty sure she's a she actually. There we go. Oh yeah, he's very two-tone this side. Oh, perfectly timed just before tea. Might even have a cold cider as a celebration. Lovely job, let's pop him back.
He very much put me in the mind of a smaller version of the Sonin Eye. In fact, you can't see it from there, but there's a picture over there. I don't think there is one there. No, but there's a picture on the wall over there. I'll try and put it on this video somehow. Of me with the Sonin Eye, and when I saw him, like I say, a smaller version, he was 35 pounds, and the eye was 55 pounds. But it's that stamp of fish, you know, they come along occasionally, those big heads, leathery sides, big chunky sort of waddling animals. Yeah, proper character he was, proper character. Talking about the braid side of things, last month I showed you, I did that little experiment with the mono lines, nylon lines against braid lines and the stretch and that. I had a load of feedback off of you from that. It is quite mind-blowing when you see the difference in the way those two lines perform. And, you know, like I said, I was advocating it I use it all the time, but for snag fishing, you need to use braid. In fact, on this lake I'm on now, there's a rule that if you're fishing, I think there's 3 swims that fish at long range up against these snags. Then you have to use braid, which is a really sensible rule. But the thing is, with braid, a couple of people said, and they're rightly so, if you are locked up and you're screaming tight, your bobbin's already at the top, you're not going to get much in the way of indication. So before I left on this second session, I've just done this little tiny short bit of video clip just to show you how I get around that problem and how I use braid for snag fishing. So this is it all set up, snag fishing from a platform with braid. So obviously I'm all locked in at the bottom here with stage stands, fishing out straight at that far bank, right against that snag tree. Can't allow them to have any line, but if it's singing tight, you're not going to get a bite. The bobbin's right up to the top here. Obviously there's no way you're going to get any indication apart from the rod shaking and maybe one beep if you're lucky. So I use these little clips. Focus on that. Little front clips. I think Solar make them. And what you're getting then, you can have it clipped up tight here, so that's proper tight out there to the snag. Clipped here, the fish is only ever going to go one way, it's going to go towards the snag, and then you've got a short drop on the bobbin. So as you get a take, and that just pulls out that clip, you get, let's turn it on, you're going to get an indication, and you can have that drop as long as you like, clipped up at the front. So rather than nothing, just a rod shaker, and the fish has already got some momentum, pings out of the clip, and you get an indication. And then it's obviously screwed up tight at the clutch end, and it just can't take any more. Just that little bit more warning that something's hanging on the end. all for one tiny little plastic clip. Just tuck that in there like that. Job done. Snag fishing made simple. So there you have it. That's how I do it, and it gives you, like I showed in that, it gives you enough indication to know that you've got to take. And if you put it tight into that clip, you know, if it comes out the clip, it's a fish. So any indication, straight out and bang. And it's, yeah, when you're fishing up against snags, the fish are always going to go for the snags. They're never going to come towards you. It's just, you know, that's where they want to be. They feel the hook, bang, they're straight in the snags, out the clip, and you're in. And that's how I fished throughout that session, and it worked. Like I say, I had 9 fish on the bank. I did lose one, just a hook pull, you know, just made it to the edge of the reeds and had to really pile on the pressure. One of the smaller ones, I think, to be honest. Quite often it's the way that the ones that really beat you up are the smaller ones, the little energetic males, whereas the bigger ones are a little bit more sort of, a bit slower, a bit more ploddy, and to be honest, a lot easier to deal with. But unfortunately, since then, I've just heard, I've got back from my second session I didn't catch. It'd gone very, very moody. It'd gone so hot. I mean, you know what the weather's been like lately, absolutely scorching. And obviously they're getting ready to spawn, aren't they? And I've just had a phone call this morning that they've shut 3 of the swims because they've started to show signs of spawning. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? You know, all that time sat in lockdown. And I'd said it a few times that as soon as it opened, as soon as we got back out on the bank, they were going to spawn, and that's exactly what has happened. And that's just bad luck, isn't it? You know, we used to get that in the old close season. We'd get out there in June and they'd spawn the first day the season started. But you know, you just got to respect that and give them a bit of space to get on with their business. Before you know it, it'll be back to normal and they'll be out there feeding, and hopefully feeding heavy. I mean, once they do spawn, they usually get bang on it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back out, and hopefully it'll all be out the way. I'll probably go out in a week's time. It'll all be done, and the fish will be feeding properly and split up, you know, because you do get big concentrations of carp at this time of year, pre-spawning and around spawning. Obviously, they're all getting into their spawning groups, their age groups, and, you know, into the correct areas, shallower water, snags, reeds. So you can have a lot of the lake is actually devoid of carp most of the time, but once they've spawned, they just go poof, and they're everywhere, which is what I'm proper looking forward to when I get back. It's been, apart from being busy with the anglers up the lake, this weather and everybody off, it's been busy with other people. I mean, it's a locked-in lake to a degree. One bank isn't. One bank's got a footpath, like behind the sort of trees, the woods that flank that bank. So you do get people about, you know. For some reason, at some stage in the past, there's a website called, I don't know what it's actually called, but it's an open water or free water or an open water swimmers website. And all of these pits around the Raisbury area are on the website. They're not free swimming pits. They're not available for anyone to go swimming, but they're on this website. And when I fished Raisbury 2 for the last 3 years, we used to get them down there all the time. And I filmed them. I'll show you in a sec. I woke up the other morning and I'm sat there and I looked, and looking out across the lake, I thought, what the hell is that out in the middle? I don't know whether you can see those out there or not. There's one orange buoy and one flesh-coloured buoy bobbing about. They're people's heads. We have some open water swimmers. I think they're an old couple, but I tell you what, they can half swim. They came in right over on that far bank, over, where has my finger gone? I'm not very good at this finger thing, I'm over there somewhere. And they went right up that top end. And then they've come all the way back down here, and I'm just about to catch them. Which will be fun. Just waiting for my right hand rod to rip off. Might need a boat to land them though. Shame I haven't got a gaff. I'm going to give them another 30 yards and then I'm going to have to scream at them.
Remember we used to get them up Brogborough, they used to go, I mean that's got to be half a mile long, Brogborough, I don't know, something like that. I think I measured it once, it was 1100 yards, whatever that is. And they'd swim up and down there all day quite happily. Always old people as well. Hope for me yet. I don't think I could do one width. I don't think I'd make it to that other bank, to be honest.
You know, it seems bizarre, but it's not, like I said, it's not an unusual occurrence. In fact, I spoke to a mate of mine who's there today. I spoke to him this morning, and he said the same. In fact, he sent me a little bit of video on WhatsApp of the same two people. They were trying to turf them off. One of the bailiffs went out in a boat and just trying to explain to them that they're not allowed to be there, and they wouldn't have it. You know, they said, "Oh, this is an open water, free water," and it's not. It's a very expensive syndicate lake, and you can't be there. There's lines everywhere. There's people fishing. They're quite an old couple. You know, they're not causing any problem as such, but it's not really what you want, is it? Especially if they come out at bite time and you've got an old couple swimming across your baits. It's not exactly ideal, but like I say, it goes with the territory around there. They're not the worst by far. So as I say, my second session on there weren't anywhere near as successful as the first, but that was due to the fact, I think, that they're getting ready for other things. I think there was only 2 or 3 fish caught in the 3 days I was there, but I did see a few. Showing out in the middle, and I see them in the snags as well. You know, boating up really quietly against snags and just looking ahead as you get up to them. You can see them right deep in there, grouping up, just sitting there, big old pecks paddling like that, you know, just warming up really, getting ready for spawning. But it is a good time to see what it is you're fishing for, and there's some big fish in this lake. I mean, the biggest one in there is a fish called roids, over 60 pound. I mean, that's huge, 60 pound carp. You know, I've never caught one that big, home or abroad. You know, by far a £5 personal best for me, and it's over 60. I think it might be even mid 60 by now. I don't know. It's a growing fish, so I'm proper excited to get to know him. Something to tangle with, and I think there's 2 other 50s in there, 50 common and a 50 mirror. So it's got a hell of a stock in there. And like I say, once all the spawning and everything else is out of the way, then it's going to be game on. I'm really looking forward to the autumn and that on there. Apparently it gets very weedy, which puts a lot of people off, but I like fishing in the weed. My sort of the way I look at weed fishing is you're getting bites on the bottom, yeah? So you're trying to get fish to feed on the bottom, on areas. The more weed, the less areas, the less choice you've got, the less you've got to worry about. If you've got no weed, and you've got, say, 100 acres, you know, you're looking on 100 acres of bottom for where they're feeding. When the weed gets up and you've got 30 spots across the lake, then they're going to be on one of them 30 spots. You know, if your swim's got 3 spots in it, it's easy, isn't it? You just go out and you fish those 3 spots. You can create new spots. Again, you know, we're talking about particles. Perfect. You know, you get seeds, hemp, red Diaries seeds, all the little bits and pieces. And you get it down there in the weed, and the tench, the bream and the carp, well, not so much the bream, but the tench and the carp will get in there and mooch about and uproot the weed and make spots. But to do that properly, you've got to do that early. You want to be doing that by now. You know, if you've got short weed coming up in places, you know, over a vast area, and you want to create a spot, now's the time to do it. Get the fish feed in there so that they get rid of the roots while it's young and fresh. And create spots where the weed isn't going to grow, because the fish keep visiting it, you know, by feeding or just moving over it. They'll blow the silt off, they'll drop that layer down and get rid of all the substrate that the weed will root in, and you'll create spots, which is, you know, well handy. Bear them in mind for later in the year. But when it gets to that stage a bit later in the year and the weed is up, and you've got your spots, natural spots, other people's spots, to me, that just, like I said, it makes it so much more simple, so much simpler. You can disregard so much of the lake. I'm not saying the fish don't use it; they'll be in the weed and that, but you know, you're not presenting properly in them areas. And if you want to present properly, you're looking for these little clear spots, whether by boat, whether with a marker, whatever, wraps, clips, everything. But once you know where these spots are, bring on the weed. Weedier the better for me. I absolutely love it, and it does put a lot of anglers off. And we all like a nice quiet lake, don't we, at the end of the day? It's just really nice to be out there again, isn't it? I mean, you know, apart from whether you're catching or whether you're blanking or whatever, after such a layoff that we've not had for many a year, just to be out there in the morning, you know, at first light, what's that, about 4:10, you know, just watch it. It goes from that black to purple, doesn't it, the sky, way before sun up, and it gets lighter and lighter, and then you watch the sun peek up over the trees, and the noise as well, that sort of 4:30 in the morning cacophony of bird sound. It's just great. You don't realise how much you've missed it until you're back out there experiencing it. And then at the other end of the day, you know, you've got the sunset and you've got the chance of a bite ahead. As soon as it starts getting dark, you think, oh, you know, it's time. Hear the odd fish out there in the darkness boshing over, and oh yeah, I just love it out there. Absolutely love it. Oh, the lorry coming up the drive, could be a delivery. A few things I'm waiting for actually. I had my bait yesterday. I've changed my mix slightly, my particle mix. I've added the shredded peanut, just to give it like a bit of a twinkle on the bottom because they're very bright, you know. It's like bigger pieces of hemp, if you like. It reflects up beautiful. I've also ordered a new mosquito mesh. I make this sort of encampment thing for the summer. I don't really like having a bivy up if I can help it. So I make like a T-piece, a 6-foot rod rest each end of the bed, and a cross piece and a mosquito mesh over the top. And I had to find a new mosquito mesh. That could be it turning up now. And I've got a new cool box coming as well, but I'm going to show you that next month because I'm very, very excited about this new cool box. Keeps ice frozen for 5 days. Imagine how long it can keep your cider cold. Top one. The one I've got at the moment is absolute rubbish. I'm going to have a look and see what it is. Quite excited. Oh. Now I'm quite disappointed. The eldest boy coming home from work. Oh well. Yeah, so this mosquito mesh thing, I actually melted it. I had a truck fire on the way home from the lake last winter, I think it was. Something called light in the back, had flames coming out of the back. It melted a cool box. It burnt me mosquito mesh. It set light to my rod bag. It did loads of damage. I was literally driving down the M25 and had a car behind me, flashing me, and came up beside me. And I sort of looked down and there's this girl and she's shouting something, and I wound down my window. And she's shouting, "You're on fire!" And I'm like, "What?" She says, "You're on fire!" And I've looked in the rear view mirror and sure enough there was smoke and that coming out the back, and I pulled over onto the hard shoulder and I opened it and there was proper flames, like massive flames coming out the back. Luckily a lorry pulled up and lent me a fire extinguisher. We put it out. I had to have a new back on the truck and everything. But the worst thing was it ruined my mosquito mesh. I'm still waiting for a new one. They're really hard to get hold of in black. You can get white ones anywhere. but black ones are almost impossible to get hold of. But I found one company that does them, and they reckon it'll be here any day, so hopefully that'll be here before I get out there again, which won't be too long. In the absence of a mozzie mesh, like I say, I don't really like having a bivvy up at this time of year at all if I can help it. It's just, bivvies to me, they're like, people say, if you sleep out, oh, you must get eaten alive by the mosquitoes, says him scratching. Must get eaten alive by the mosquitoes. But a bivvy creates somewhere for the mosquitoes to go. You know, if you look at the inside of your bivvy, it's covered in mosquitoes, or your brolly. If you sleep out, they just go by, and if you've got a breeze, you know, you get less bites, less mosquitoes without a bivvy, definitely, 100%. But we've got a problem with the trees at the moment, the willows at the lake, they're raining sap. You can't sleep. You're there at night, you're trying to go to sleep, and it's dripping on your face and that. So I got very inventive with my bivvy the other night. I've got some video of it I'm going to show you. I'm well pleased with myself.
Right then, in an effort to combat the dripping willow and not to get stupidly hot, I can't stand using a bivvy at this time of year. I've created this. This may look like a normal bivvy, but da-da, it's backless. So I'm going to set up my bed chair here outside with just my head under here, and I've got a perfect airflow through here. What do you reckon? I just rolled up the back section, stretched it over the pole, tucked it underneath, clipped it in place with these back bits, tied it off the woodwork. It's quite windy at the moment, as you can probably hear. It's got a bit of rock and roll on it, but personally I think it's bloody genius.
Oh, it looks proper groovy at night, doesn't it? Loving it. Well, I think we've really sort of covered everything. I've only been fishing twice, so there's not an awful lot to report, to be honest. I am really looking forward to getting out there again. Like I say, everything's sort of ready to go. Looking forward to trying out my new particle mix, and hopefully my new mosquito mesh will have turned up by then. I can just leave the bivvy at home. Well, I won't leave it at home, I'll leave it in the van, because I can guarantee the first day I ever leave it at home it's going to tip it down with rain, which is really, to be honest, I know it's only just summer and I shouldn't be asking for rain, but a good downpour would liven things up a little bit, wouldn't it? A bit of oxygen in the water. But, you know, I probably shouldn't be saying that. We've been dying for summer for so long, and now it's here. But it's come with a vengeance, hasn't it? It's just so hot at the moment. But I shouldn't know, because before we know it, it will be gone. But anyway, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to have a little rifle through the gear, make sure everything's tip-top condition, ready for my return. And then I'm going to cook a barbecue for me and the family. So, until next month, or if anything spectacular happens in the meantime, until then, I'll see you all later. Look after yourselves. Ta-da.